We kick off the SportsMax zone with Jamaica Premier League football. Match week 15 concluded with the Monday night fixtures, and Gerard Morrisili has a recap.
Back with a bang in predicting how this one will come out.
Game week 15 provided many twists and turns on Sunday, and the Monday promised more with the remaining two games. First up, struggling Chapelton Maroons, who were looking to gain footing in the relegation battle, taking on Tivoli, who are pushing for a playoff spot. When the teams met earlier in the campaign, Tivoli won 3-0, but this time around, the Maroons had other ideas. Alex Gale was influential all game, first delivering a delightful cross for Jaleel Evans, who couldn't convert. It was then the turn of Gale to waste a chance, getting no contact at the back post. A great opportunity missed for Chapelton to take the lead. Malik Stevens then fired over for Chapelton, who frustratingly went into the break 0-0. Chapelton had a trump card, Aaron Elliott coming off the bench, hoping to make an impact. And to make an impact, he did, latching on to a through ball from Gale to put Chapelton in the lead.
An opportunity here for Elliott! It has finally come! And they embrace the opportunity and the ecstasy that comes with a rear goal.
He wasn't done there, however. Elliott scoring a mesmerizing chip, lofting the ball over a hapless Nicholas Clark.
There's the confirmation. There's the man of the match. Aaron Elliott off the bench with 2 goals, the difference maker.
Crucial win for Chapelton, and their coach, Clovis de Oliveira, implored their fans to support the team.
I just would like to leave a message for Jamaican fans, mainly for Chapelton Maroons supporter. We need you to come together with us. It's very important for the team.
All the best.
Thank you.
Next up, Cavalier, hoping to snap a 2-game winless run, taking on a tough Veer United setup, trying to distance themselves further from the relegation zone. Their top marksman, Colin Anderson, had failed to score in the last 3 matches, and he seemed intent on ending that run. First, forcing a reaction save by Veer custodian Roger Williams. He then attempted to turn provider, whipping in a cross to which Christopher Ainsworth rattled off the upright, leaving the scores level at the break. Cavaliers started the second half just like they ended the first. This time, Jerome McCleary finding Dwayne Atkinson, who called Williams into action yet again. Anderson wouldn't be denied, however, latching onto a Chanel Thomas through ball and coolly converting what would turn out to be the match-winning goal, his 11th of the season.
Anderson again, the breakthrough for Cavalier. He's been silent the last couple of weeks, but he's back on form now with his 11th this season. And finally, the breakthrough for Cavalier, 1-0 over Veer.
In the other matches across the round, Dunbeholden beat Falkland 4-2. Mount Pleasant were held to a 0-0 draw by Harbourview. Arnett Gardens edged the struggling Portmore 2-1. Humber Lion dispatched Moorlands United 2-1. And the Waterhouse blanked Montego Bay United 3-0. Those results leave us here. Mount Pleasant on top, but Arnett and Cavalier reducing the gap to 2 and 3 points respectively. Humber Lions still holding down 4th place, with Harbourview and Dunbeholden having the remaining playoff spots. But they can surely feel Waterhouse breathing down their necks. At the foot of the table, Falkland and Chapelton remain as cellar dwellers.
We're joined by our in-house football analyst, Leger Williams. Leger, welcome again to the set.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, so Chapelton Maroons can now breathe a sigh of relief. They finally got that win that they needed under the new coach. And kudos to Aaron Elliott.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very good performance by him coming off of the bench. He was dangerous as soon as he came on, got the goal 6 minutes after. Should have provided an assist as well, but his teammate, unfortunately, didn't provide the finish, and then it was a really sumptuous chip, I must say so myself. Really good goals, and I'm sure maybe Chapelton will be looking for that to be a springboard for them to move forward for the rest of the season.
How important was it that Chapelton Maroons secure a win to ensure that they didn't end the season, without a win under this new coach? And, just to add to my question, how important is this win for Clovis de Oliveira at the helm?
It's extremely important because, it's a morale thing. So if once he gets that win, it then allows the players to say, okay, I believe in what you're doing. I'm going to buy in. I'm going to work even harder for you. And even after the game, Elliot spoke about the togetherness that Clovis is bringing into the setup. So I'm sure even though that they got the -6 points deduction, yes, they're down in the relegation places, but there's still so many games left to go. I'm sure they still have some belief that they'll be able to claw themselves out and try and see if they can escape.
Now, how have they been handling the issue with the amateur players and the ceiling of the number of amateur players that they have available to them based on the JPL rules? Because I know it had affected them because their team was so much heavily banking on the quality of the Clarendon College schoolboy players.
Well, a lot of the Clarendon College players left after Lenny Hyde left as well, so they've gone to other clubs, some of them. But I know that Chapelton, they had trials. They brought in a lot of players transfer-wise as well. So, and they still had a core of players that they could call upon. Like Gale was there. Gale had a really good game yesterday. He was there previously. So they're just mixing and matching and trying to get the right selection of players that can help them to get results.
How can they solve their offensive issues though, Leger? Because outside of the fact they were on an 8-game winless run, it was a winless run without goals. Their last goal before last night would have come towards the back end of December against Malines, I think it was. Yeah. So they haven't been scoring. Not only they haven't been getting results, but they haven't been scoring goals at all.
I think that's just a wider issue, Lance. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think that's necessarily a Chapelton issue. Goals just aren't scored in this league. The top scorers in the league are Mount Pleasant. They've scored 20 goals in 15 games. That's nothing, you get me? So it's a wider issue. People like to blame the fields. People like to blame the quality of the players. That there are a lot of issues at hand. But I think most importantly, I think comes down to coaching. There's a lot of old school coaches in the league. They like to prioritize being solid at the back first and then being more expressive when you can, as opposed to being on the front foot. Yes, a couple of coaches in the league, like I would like to Rudolph Speed, and down at Inet, they also like to play forward-thinking football. But I think on a general rule of thumb across the league, not to go around the question of Chapelton specifically, of course, but I think across the league there isn't that many goals. So it's not a Chapelton issue, it's just a league issue.
Yeah, and speaking about the points table, 1 point separate Chapelton from Falkland. Of course, do you think that Chapelton, now that they got to winning ways, can, overcome that relegation zone?
Unfortunately for them, no. I don't think so, because when it comes down to Falkland and Chapelton, I think if Chapelton didn't get that -6, then possibly, because I do think Clovis is a good coach and he will implement some good things there. But I think just because of the teams ahead of them, you think about Veer. Veer are an excellent defensive team. Yeah, I was just criticizing the coaches that like to prioritize defense, but Veer are a really good defensive team and they will be tough to beat for the rest of the season, so they'll pick up points. Malines is filled with talent. They'll pick up points. So I think it's not necessarily an indictment on the quality of Chapelton, but it's more so on the teams above them. I think they'll get enough points so that Chapelton can catch them up, or Falkland for that matter.
Right, and the other game, Cavalier, of course, they are in 3rd position, 3 points behind top spot. You see them getting to that top spot?
They could. I do think, coincidentally, Chapelton are the best team in the league. I think tactically they're the best team.
Cavalier.
No, Cavalier.
Okay.
Cavalier are the best
okay.
team in the league. I think tactically they're really there. They have quality as well. They have I don't want to say a lethal goal scorer or a clinical one, but he does score goals in Colin Anderson as well. So I think that they'll be in and about it. They're currently my favourites to win the league, them and Arnett. I think Mount Pleasant have a few issues that they're working through. But I think between those two teams, the ones that are chasing Mount Pleasant, I think will be one of them to lift the title this year.
Yeah, you just referenced Veer and how solid their defensive unit is, and they are. The only team that has conceded fewer goals than Veer at the moment would have been Mount Pleasant, who are the current leaders. Yeah. But while Veer are 12th, Mount Pleasant are 1st. Yeah. How can Veer solve their problems and move up the table? Because part of being successful in football is to keep clean sheets, and Veer have done that reasonably well, better than most teams, but they just haven't been getting enough wins.
I think a lot of that down is qualitative. Their attacking options aren't very good, to be honest, and their coach is trying to get the best out of them by just allowing them to have a platform to defend and then push forward up the field. but it's not working out that well, so they're just prioritizing having a good defense, because if you keep a clean sheet, you can't lose the game.
That's right.
So, and Linval Dixon is not a slouch when it comes down to coaching an attack, because he's won the Premier League previously. So when it comes down to just being defensively solid, he says, all right, I'm going to do that. And then when we get better players, I'll keep in the league. Then when we get better players, then maybe we can push up into the playoff places, as we've seen Veer do before under Donovan Lucky. So maybe that will be the solution eventually, but I'm not quite sure right now.
All right, well, Leger, as always, good stuff. Thank you so much for joining us on the SportsMax Zone, and we look forward to chatting with you again.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, it's break time now. We'll be right back. Stay with SportsMax on YouTube and follow us on all social pages for updates, news, and entertainment.